Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Netflix's Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events, Season 1, Episode 4, The Reptile Room, Part 2.
Why? Why would you add more? I know you said you're going to, but I thought it was a joke.
It was a joke, but then I actually think it's funny doing it because it takes so long to get through the title. Roll with me. Here, come on. So, full spoilers for the episode, as always. This was the second half of the Reptile Room, of course, and it was... The end of the last one was Monty being killed. We don't really see it, but we see something come to, classic horror movie style. And this one was Olaf basically trying to leave with the children and constantly getting interrupted, whether it was Mr. Poe, whether it was someone else, and... The pretense that there's an investigation and him bringing in all of his acting troupe to play out the roles of the police and the coroner, which, by the way, the coroner's van just had the word corner on it. I don't know if you noticed that delightful little bit, but crack me up that one.
Also, my favourite part of that little bit is hook-handed man's hands.
Yeah, well, one of the running jokes that they're really setting up is that Mr. Poe is a bit of an idiot in terms of recognising people, because he doesn't recognise that it's Olaf, and even when he's told it's Olaf, he's like, don't be ridiculous, this man has no hair and a long beard. Which is funny, don't get me wrong, it's good. It's good fun-natured stupidity, but...
And they reference the monobrow.
Yeah, the monobrow. But then the guy's hands, like, no, don't be ridiculous, that man had hooks for hands, this man has hands, and it's these plastic...
Huge oversized things.
Yeah. So a lot of humor from this. There was a lot of it's funny because obviously the episode ends in a maze, or at least a good chunk of the ending's in a maze. So it's maybe weird to say the rest of the episode is a bit of a game of a cat and mouse and like a maze-like sort of style, because we follow Klaus sort of sneaking out the room and crawling around in the crime scene trying to find proof that Olaf killed Monty. Meanwhile, we see Violet with the baby sneaking around from Olaf and trying to get into the case.
I like how it cut back to that. It was a nice little device. Obviously, we have Lemony Snicket pop in and go, oh yeah, but while this was going on, meanwhile, and then explains that and it goes back.
Yeah, even criticises he's like, meanwhile, it's a bit of a trope. Was it what trope he used? There wasn't trope that he used. It wasn't cliche. Hackneyed. It was hackneyed, and he explains the meaning of the word hackneyed.
Yeah. But then it kind of plays what we just did in Rewind.
Yeah.
And cuts back, and I like that. It was a nice little touch.
Do you know what I think impressed me most about this one, though? I mean, obviously all this stuff was fun with the game of cat and mouse around the place, and the constant Olaf try to pass this off as an accident, and Mr. Poe being kind of dumb about everything that's going on, and this response time is very good from everyone. All that was good fun. That was kind of like why we like the show. It's all this silly kind of humour that it brings to us. But what impressed me more so is that when they were carting out Monty on the stretcher with the sheet over him, and they got a little bit emotional as the kids were looking at it, was like, he was actually a nice guy. We would have liked to live with him, and now he's gone.
Yeah, there was that, and I think for me it actually really widened open the ongoing mystery, which obviously we got hints at, and this kind of really brought it to the forefront. With the maze part onwards, that was kind of okay. Let's focus on this and kind of really set up this story.
Of course, Jacqueline, who was the secretary for Mr. Poe's bank, who turned out to be an agent that's in cahoots with her parents, seemingly.
Yes.
And she's pretending to be the statue in the centre of this maze. Which, by the way, when you look down at the maze, it's the symbol, it's the eye symbol, and she sort of helps him and says, I'm going to go and track Olaf. I'll get the thing back that he stole from you. And she tracks him to a boat. He's trying to leave he's trying to go to Peru himself.
Yeah, he's trying to get on the ship.
Yeah, he's trying to get... Because Klaus, of course, finds the ticket with the information on it. So, again, just building the overall mystery of things. And we see that their parents are still in Peru. And which, by the way, they're in a bar in Peru in their one scene in this episode. And, Kobe Smulders, breaks a pool cue and, hands half of it to...
Yeah.
Will Arnett. And I buy her as an action hero. I can see her kicking the crap out of everyone in that room. Maybe it's because she's been a SHIELD agent, in the Marvel movies. Maybe
it helps, doesn't it? But she's got the attitude to pull it off.
But then Will Arnett grabs it as if he's going to do the same, and I'm like, I don't know if I buy this.
No, because especially when we've seen Will Arnett is more like Klaus, right? It's very much father and son, mother and daughter.
Yeah.
And he's clearly the not the brains, but the more
book smart. He's
Book
more the
smart,
intellectual, right, where she's the more practical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it kind of seems weird for him to just jump in on the action.
Wasn't even that was my problem, though. It's just because Will Arnett, I can't fathom
No, I
being
know,
an
but it doesn't help in both senses.
I
It's
just
not
think,
like his typical role, is it?
I think of Job from Arrested Development. I think of him saying I've made a huge mistake in failing at doing a magic trick. Like, I just there's a it's a shame to typecast someone, but there's some people who they've just played such an iconic role, and then they've not really done anything else other like too far away from it and all that other stuff. That
I mean, to be fair, he is Batman.
aye, goofy Lego Batman.
It counts.
It does not count. It so does not count.
All right, fine.
But yeah, so but anyway, back to it. She tracks down Klaus and she beats him up a little bit, but he ends up diving through the window.
Not Klaus.
Sorry, yeah. All these weird names.
That took a weird turn there. She beat up Klaus.
Yeah. But yeah, Olaf jumps out the window and he gets away. So he's still on the loose, which means he's around for the next...
I did like when it was like, oh, that's the thing about snakes. They shed their skin. And he kind of just pulls off the gown and dives through the window.
Yeah. He's in his ridiculous like onesie pajamas, and he jumps out the window. It's also funny because obviously Jacqueline tells them, right, the next person you should go to is your aunt, whatever. She's the safe... Josephine, I think was the... And... Mr. Poe's about to say the same thing, but then they say it as well, and just so the idea that they're aware something's going on. They don't know their parents are alive at the moment yet, but they know there's mystery and they know there's all this stuff because they know because Monty was going to tell them. He even told them in the last episode, "I'm going to tell you tomorrow, but tonight, but tomorrow we'll go to Peru and you'll learn about all this stuff." And he died and they didn't get to. So obviously it's something they'll learn over the course of the show or the season. So that's all fine and well. Going back to this idea that there keeps being this like dark edge to Olaf and the threats he's making, there was a lot more of him with the knife in this episode, like pulling it out and like threatening to stab.
Yeah, and creeping throughout the house as well.
Yeah, creeping throughout the house, creeping up the stairs, creeping. There was that great moment where when it rewound after we see Klaus go out the window
behind the door,
and you see Violet and Sunny behind the door. That was great stuff. And it makes him feel really menacing. Obviously, near the start of the episode when he almost leaves, but then Mr. Poe interrupts. And he stabs the suitcase that Sunny might be in.
Yeah.
And even though...
It's like you go, well, she can't be in it, but it's still like a good moment.
It's still a really dark thing to even pretend you're going to do.
Yeah.
So, no. That dark thing has been continuing, and I appreciate that. Yeah,
me too. It feels much more... almost realistic to counter it with the goofiness. It's
a weird word. It's weird to talk something being realistic in this, but it just because everything is so cartoony in that sense, where everything's exaggerated and you can have characters not tell that it's Olaf, even though he's clearly Olaf and a fake beard.
But it kind of counters it really well and kind of grounds it with an actual story, and like I say, it kind of leads to this emotional part because of these things like this. Whereas it's not just this goofy fun all the time.
Yeah, like I've said before in one of the last reviews, I like that he has an edge to him. That he's not just, disposable, no darkness to him, just goofy villain. He's actually got threat, he's got menace.
Yeah.
On top of being funny. In terms of like standout comedy scenes for me in this one, or lines specifically, the line that stuck out for me more than anything was when, so the first henchman comes, it's the nurse, and... They have this weird argument where Olaf, I keep doing that. Olaf, as Stefano, is like, maybe you two should go in there and I'll stay out here with the children. And he's trying to talk his way into it so that he's left alone with the children. And Violet makes the obvious suggestion, well, no, how about you, who is supposed to be an assistant with this science stuff, and the nurse who's here to check the body, go and do the body and we'll stay here with Mr. Poe. And Stefano, or Olaf, as Stefano's response is, children, if you were closer to me, I'd smack you in the neck. It was the neck that specifically made me laugh. Because you don't slap someone in the neck.
No, you don't.
You may choke someone, obviously. Your neck can be a target, but you don't slap someone in the neck. So it just made me laugh.
It was good. And then obviously you had the nurse going, maybe I should stay out here and you two go in.
Yeah. It's actually a very old school comedy that I don't think we see enough of anymore.
No, you don't. It's refreshing.
Yeah, it reminds me of like old comedy movies from like, I don't know, just where you'd have like these goofy characters arguing about who should do something.
It feels almost Monty Python-esque.
Yeah, it's of that era certainly.
Yeah. It's like the sort of thing, if this was in a Monty Python sketch, it wouldn't feel out of place.
Yeah, but the tone works for it. It would feel like if we got a joke like this suddenly in like season 3. I don't know. Pick a show, any show, other show we watch.
Literally any other show, yeah.
It would feel like a place and we go, oh, that was weird, and it jarred and it didn't work. But here, the tone is built for all this to happen, and it's what makes the show so fun, is that we can have all this
it's
stuff.
all the surrealism makes these things, these ridiculous things, just work.
Yeah. Another standout moment is Mr. Poe. When he gets scared about the snake, the big deadly viper, he starts like saying things and constantly like going against what he said.
That is funny, actually. That was probably my favourite moment.
Yeah. He keeps saying something and saying the exact opposite, and he keeps doing it for like a good 30
while
seconds.
backing away, out the door.
Yeah, really, really good. So, no, a lot more fun stuff. Actually, some emotion about him die. Even like the little when he goes to Lemony Snicket at the start, and he talks about death and how everyone knows that it's eventually going to happen. And his introduction to the kids finding the body, and your heart sinks a little bit as they're walking down the stairs. Like they actually, despite the silliness, despite the goofiness of the story and how it is a bit of a cartoon, the core characters actually, you care about them a little bit now at this point.
Yeah,
and
you want them to just have a nice family.
Yeah. So there was a little bit of emotion, a little bit of heart. Not that the heart wasn't there before, but I'm feeling it creep in a little bit more now. Where okay, this is actual.
Yeah, it's something we kind of experience a lot. It's as the characters kind of grow on you that these moments kind of lend themselves to have more weight.
I don't know how loud that was. My cat's tail. My cat's on my lap, and his tail was hitting against the cable.
Just a bit of a brush. It's fine.
Bit of a brush. That's fine. I was getting ready to throw him off for being disruptive.
I mean, you should do that anyway. All cats are annoying.
Nah, cats are great.
I don't think we've not had very many cats in this show yet.
Nah, a lot of reptiles.
Yeah, I feel like there's got to be a cat episode at some point.
I'm expecting it.
Aye.
I'm expecting it. So, no, that's episode 4 of a series of unfortunate events. We'll be back with episode 5 later today. Now, I know we said that episode 4 would have been yesterday, and that didn't happen, so apologies for that. Stuff got on the way. 3 in 1 day is not bad, though, but there'll definitely be at least another one, probably another 2 today. So, but regardless of anything else, we will be done by the end of Sunday. That is the promise. So that's been episode 4. Thank you very much for watching. Let us know what you thought of this one in the comments below. Like and subscribe and all that stuff. And we'll see you next time.